Welcome back, everyone. Well, it has been 7 years of working on this and filming it every step of the way. Now, my goal is to finish this in 10 years. Now, whether or not I can finish this in another 3 years, I don't know. But I feel for myself that it's important to set a deadline or a goal so that I continue moving forward on it. I feel like without a deadline, it just would never get worked on. So we're making good progress. And like I said, I've been filming it every step of the way. And I feel so good about that, having it all documented. And I want to thank all of you for watching all of the videos. A special thank you to all of my Patreon members, everyone that follows me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you all for the tremendous support over the years of building this. There's a lot more to come, and it really, I think, gets exciting because now we're getting more into scenery and details. I'm talking traffic lights, fire hydrants, mailboxes, utility poles, figures, vehicles, so many details on this layout. For anyone that's new to the channel, let me give you a quick history of this layout. And as I'm talking, I'll put some images up on the screen to show you where I started on this. So my grandfather introduced me to the hobby when I was a real little kid. I remember going to his house and sitting and just watching the trains go round and round on his layout. Now, his layout first started as a 4x8 sheet of plywood. Then he bought a second sheet of plywood, so it was 4 by 16 feet. And I just remember growing up with that layout and watching him put buildings together and lay track, put in switches, all of it. And the older I got, the more he taught me about the hobby. So this is actually my third layout. My first layout had a lot of track, a ton of track. And it really didn't leave much room for buildings. My second layout, I cut way back on the track and put mountains, a lot of mountains. My plan was to go from floor to ceiling, make it all mountains. And again, it didn't leave much room for structures. So my third layout, as you can see, a lot of structures. It took me that long to find out what my true passion in this hobby is, and that is structure building. I love putting buildings together, and I love making them look super old. I love making things look rusty and worn down. That is where my passion is, and that's why there's so many buildings on this layout. I actually use the buildings as my mountains, and you'll notice that they start low and gradually go uphill, just like mountains would. Now you'll notice on this side, the buildings start out very large. They are full HO scale buildings. Then it starts to gradually go downhill, and we eventually get to some N scale buildings in the far back. So I'm using forced perspective on the layout. So in the background over there, we have some N scale buildings, but I have quite a few N scale buildings back here. And again, notice how it gradually goes uphill. And when it gets towards the top of the hill, that's when we incorporate the N scale buildings. Now, at one time, there was a closet right here. And I simply took a piece of styrofoam and put it in the opening. And then just painted the clouds to match it. So the room we're in is 13 feet by 15 feet. Pretty much, I think, a standard size bedroom. Now the track plan is basically a dog bone loop in a U shape. So you can just see it's just a U shape. So it's a continuous running track. Now eventually I will have a second train that runs up at this level, and again it will just be a loop. So I have continuous running trains. Now for me personally, I love that. I absolutely love first thing in the morning getting a cup of coffee and turning the train on and sitting here for a little while just watching the train go around. It probably stems from my childhood watching my grandpa's train run around and around the layout, and I absolutely love the sound of the engines on the rails. I don't have cork under any of my track. And that is one of the reasons. I love the sound of that. Also, I wanted the track to be as low as possible. I don't like the look of raised track. I like everything to go up from the track. You know, in all of my years in this hobby, the most important lesson that I've learned is to get the most enjoyment out of the hobby as you possibly can. Meaning, do what you want to, do what makes you happy. Don't be concerned about other people's opinions. I know there's people that think I should have put in switches and had sidings, put cork underneath my rail, that I should have done this, I should have done that. I built this layout to get the maximum enjoyment out of the hobby. And for me, that is seeing trains run continuously and structure building. I just love it. So that's the layout that I built. So I encourage you, just get the maximum amount of enjoyment out of the hobby that you possibly can. Now, many people ask me the location of the layout and the year. The year is roughly 30s, 40s, 50s. Probably the newest vehicle that I have on here would be 56, 57. So I'm not real strict on the year. And the location, I grew up in the Midwest, in Iowa, along the Mississippi River. So many of the scenes that you see on here are actually from any area along the Mississippi River. I know so many people will want to argue with me about certain things, about, oh, that wouldn't exist in real life. They would never do that. I've been an architect for years, and they would never build something like that. Trust me, most of the stuff on here, I have actually seen in person somewhere along the Mississippi River. I don't know what else to say about that. Now, I will say that since building this, since starting the layout, I have been to the New York area, up to Maine. I do understand where people think that I would be modeling that area. But for me, I'm just very unfamiliar with that area. So without even knowing it, I think I modeled what I grew up seeing. And it wasn't really my intention to, but everything on here is sort of from my childhood. So about 4 years ago, I decided to start my own business selling HO scale kits and N scale kits. So a lot of the structures on here are kits that are provided on my website. Now, starting that has sort of taken away time that I used to spend working on this, which is no problem. I love designing new structures that people get to enjoy on their layout, and then I put the structures on this layout. So you could say I'm sort of working on the layout, I'm just designing kits for it. But I absolutely love seeing what other people do with kits of mine. And I've started a Facebook page called JJT Modelers, and there you can post your builds of my kits, and it gives me such a thrill to see the imagination that people use with these kits, even just simply changing the colors. It's just great seeing everyone's work. As you can see, I'm almost completely out of room for structures. There's a corner back here that needs a lot of work, a hillside that goes up that will be covered in structures. But as far as the rest of the layout, all that's left to do is scenery work and details. Lots of details. So I think the next 3 years to reach my 10-year goal of finishing this, the next 3 years will go really fast and be a lot of scenery work and detail work. Who knows, maybe that will mean videos on painting figures, painting vehicles, adding details like the street lights, utility poles, just lots of little details. And of course, I'll show you every step of the way and how I do it and why I'm doing it. Eventually, I'll have videos on painting rolling stock, painting and weathering engines. There's so much work to do even after the layout is done. And we still have so many buildings that need windows and detailing and signs put on them. All of these buildings need windows. We need to paint and weather them. We need signs on the front, billboards on the rooftops. And then we need to just get all of this white styrofoam covered with roads and scenery work. Now you can see this train here loops. It'll go across that bridge right there. Keeps going behind these buildings, and you'll see there's a bridge. Now my plan is to put paper cutouts of buildings to make that look like it goes far back. And so that track keeps going behind a bunch of buildings here, comes out, goes around, and it will loop, and there'll be a steel girder bridge, and then it comes back right there. It's always been my goal with this channel to inspire other modelers. It has been difficult to show you unfinished scenes. Being an artist, I want to show a finished product. So it's been hard for me, and it's still hard for me showing areas of this unfinished, because I have a vision in my head of what it's going to look like, and that's what I want everyone to see, is that finished product. But I realize that showing the progress and showing the steps it takes to get to that finished product helps a lot of modelers, or at least that's my goal, is to help a lot of modelers. I really want to encourage everyone that you can do this. This hobby is very achievable. It just takes time and patience. That's all it takes. Now, your layout's not going to look like someone else's. Over time, you develop your own style. The more that you model, the more of you that comes out in your modeling, and your style develops. Even the way that you photograph it. So keep that in mind. It's okay starting out to try to mimic what other people are doing, but the more you do it, you'll find techniques that work for you, what you're comfortable with. And some of it depends too on your budget, whatever your budget is. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just model as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and then do what makes you happy and do it your way, and your style will come out. Again, I want to thank all of you for the tremendous support over the years. And you have 7 years of videos to watch from me. So there's a lot of content showing how I got to this point. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate it. And until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.